About a week ago, I was granted the privilege of attending TwitchCon 2019 in San Diego, California. The convention was awesome and a huge improvement over last year's. Today, I'd like to take the time to recap my experience at TwitchCon 2019. Throughout this video, I will be making many connections from TwitchCon 2018 and TwitchCon 2019, so I'll be referencing the two conventions often. Additionally, TwitchCon 2020 will be taking place in San Diego as well, so this video can serve as sort of a travel guide or a what not to do, what to do video for the city of San Diego. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get right into it. TwitchCon 2018 was such an incredible experience that my dad and I decided to make our trip down to San Diego, California for the TwitchCon 2019 event. We had to get on an airplane very early in the morning so that we could make it before the convention opens Saturday morning. We also decided that we can do the convention in one day, so we only went for the one Saturday. Once we arrived in San Diego, I was really impressed at the way the city was laid out. Essentially, there is a downtown area to the left, and then to the right, there is the ocean. So you look to your left, you see your hotel buildings, restaurants, a lot of big, tall, metropolitan areas, and then over to the right is the coast, which was kind of like a stark contrast, but it was really interesting to see, and super cool to be able to have things like the ocean right outside your hotel window. In San Diego, once we arrived, we decided that we were going to be staying at the Hard Rock Hotel, so we dropped off our bag there and then went to go claim our badges. Outside of our hotel was actually maybe 2 streets away. You can actually see a picture here of our view from directly outside of the hotel building. So I think we had to cross 2 streets, as I said, before we can get to the actual convention center. So it was really cool to have what we were going to be doing and where we were going to be staying so close together. That was an amazing thing, and really was cool for me because I felt really close and connected to the TwitchCon sort of culture, but I'm going to touch more on the Hard Rock Hotel later on in this video. So after we checked in, dropped off the bag, we were going to go pick up our badges. At TwitchCon 2018, they had lines waiting up to, I think, 4 or 5 hours the first day to claim badges, not even to get in. So they were able to fix that for this year's event. The badge pickup was super smooth and super concise, went by very quickly. One thing though was when we picked up our badges, we did not receive any bag. We were supposed to get a swag bag, which is like a cinch bag that has some goodies inside of it. We did not get one of those. So we were thinking maybe we have to go somewhere else. That was just kind of something in the back of our head for the convention, was trying to find where we get this bag. After we grabbed our badges, we went to the expo floor, and there's a couple of different booths I want to point out. Obviously there was a lot of exhibitors there, and they all had interesting and unique things to show off. But I would like to make mention of a couple of booths. I started at the Sansar VR booth, and their game seemed interesting to me. Basically, you put on an HTC Vive, you had the little hand controller things, and it was just a virtual world that you were going to do normal stuff in. They were advertising challenges like snowball fights and other just day-to-day fun events. So I thought it would be super interesting to try it out for myself. I had not done too much VR before this point, so kind of new technology to me. When I put on the VR helmet, my task was to throw darts. And I've thrown darts before, so I bent down, picked up a dart, threw it at the board, and I probably hit like 1,000 bullseyes, just perfect. When I went to pick up the dart again, though, for my second throw, I was put into this blue void where there was nothing but a Monster Cat logo. And I was really confused, so I'm like, okay, maybe let's move towards the Monster Cat logo. But when I tried to move, I was at a very slow pace. It was almost comical how slow I was moving. And at that point, the game kind of just lost its effect on me because I was just getting warped around randomly. I eventually ended up with some guy giving me a quest to do, and before they took away the helmet from me. So that probably might have been something I did. I don't think I did anything though. I'm almost certain I was just throwing darts. So their booth was, maybe not the best for me. I might have done something wrong though. I don't want to judge them on just my experience, but I think they might have had some difficulty there. I'm not positive. And then just being in VR was a little disorienting for me. I had to take a minute when I took the mask off to adjust to that fact that I was living in a real world again. To put it in the wise words of Queen, is this the real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. The next booth I went to was the Blue Yeti booth. They had some of their stuff set out, and you could just play Borderlands and use some of their technology. I wanted to mention their new microphone. I believe it's called the Blue Yeti X. It is super high-tech for a USB microphone. A lot of interesting software built right into the device as opposed to having some sort of audio program you run on the computer. You can do so much like audio gain, directional audio, quick mute and stuff like that I just think was really interesting to have. My current microphone is actually just attached to my headset, so I think I might get a new microphone at some point, just like a standalone one that's on an arm. Haven't decided yet though, but that microphone was definitely something I was looking at. The next thing I wanted to bring up was the Extra Life claw machine. They had a charity section of TwitchCon exhibitors who all were doing various different things to advertise their charities, the mission they have, the people they've helped. Extra Life was really interesting though, because they had an actual, you strapped yourself into a claw machine, and then they put you up, you were dangling, and they dropped you down, and you picked up a picture cube of someone their charity had helped. And that was just a really unique way to bring people in. I saw their line was always long, no matter when I looked at it, so props to them for thinking of something really creative. A lot of the other charities just had video games that you can go and play, which works. You know, they all had a buzz around the games. Maybe it's an arcade cabinet or some sort of multiplayer one. I know one charity had like a punching bag or something. Didn't look too much into that, but just want to give a special shout out to Extra Life for their creativity. The next booth I want to talk about now is the Nimble Giant booth, who were showing off 2 games. One of them was some sort of Doom game, sort of like a fan creation of some sort. I wasn't too interested in that one, so I kind of let that one be. My dad took a look at that one and brought home an information card on that, so you know, he's into more of some of the older games, and he was interested in that. I was interested in the other game they were showing off called Quantum League, which is super, super interesting in concept, because it's a 1 versus 1 capture the point style game where you have 12 seconds to choose a weapon and then make your movements, and then from that point you're actually warped back to when you started. All your movements are recorded from the first round and played out by a robot like a ghost, and then you get a second character. So you're building a team of yourself. So any action that you take is being recorded and then it's played back, so you can play with yourself. You can, you know, eliminate a teammate to save one of your ghosts in the past. A lot of interesting time mechanics there, so look out for that one coming up. I was actually given a beta key for that game. If I can get it to work, we might see some gameplay of that on the channel. Even if we don't see it though, I'm definitely going to have my eyes on it for its actual release. At this point, my dad and I decided we were done for the expo floor for now. We decided to move up to the second floor, where they have the GDQX, the meet and greets, and Artist Alley, as well as the Loot Cave. We started at the Loot Cave, where you can buy the TwitchCon merchandise. And from 2018, we kind of had a sour taste in our mouths from the Loot Cave, because it took us about an hour and a half to get through the line there, so we were kind of expecting to have to wait a little while. They advertised the Loot Cave as a 45-minute wait, but I think it only took 15 or 20, because it was really, really smooth. I think the main reason why it was quicker was because of the way the new convention center is set up. In TwitchCon 2018, they had a confined little room that they put the shop in, but for this one, they actually just built up a little box on a second expo floor. That allowed for easier movement and sort of customization of how they laid out the shop to allow for more people to come in. So big props to them for fixing that problem as well. So we have the badges that they fixed and the Loot Cave that they fixed. You can see on your screen now I bought 2 things from the Loot Cave. I have that Army Green Twitch shirt and then the San Diego TwitchCon 2019 shirt as well. They're both great shirts. They're comfortable, very fashionable. I wear them out. Fantastic shirts. Good experience at the Loot Cave. The next thing I did was a meet and greet with Kit Boga, who is a partnered Twitch streamer who is mainly known for his tech scam sort of exposing series thing. Basically, he gets on a virtual machine on his computer and calls up the tech scammers who, you know, may give you a pop-up that says your Mac has a virus and you need to fix it, or they might say Windows has discovered this virus on some random website, and then you call them and they walk you through a process to let them take control of your computer, and then they take your money. And then you're very sad because you don't have money or a working computer. He just messes around with those guys for hours on ends to waste their time so that they aren't actually scamming people. Great work, and I just wanted to let him know that through the meet and greet. Great guy to talk to. He gave me a nice little card you can see on your screen now. And yeah, that was the experience with the meet and greet with Kit Boga. Great experience. The line went pretty smooth. So yeah. Next thing I had to do was return to the expo floor to meet up with a different streamer. This one was an affiliate streamer named Scootish. He does variety content, mainly Nintendo games, I would say. I was actually one of his first viewers ever, so being able to meet him finally was really cool. He gave me the pin you're seeing on your screen. It says Etika World Network, obviously in memory of the person named Etika who passed away last year, unfortunately. He was awesome to be able to meet. It's always cool to be able to talk to the people that you watch on a daily basis, put a face to the name sort of thing. Really awesome. At this point, my dad and I needed to kill some time before our next meet and greet, so we decided to hang out at GDQX, which is Games Done Quick Express. They are a speedrunning marathon. Happens twice a year, but I guess 3 times now if you count TwitchCon. We were able to come in when they were setting up for the Super Mario Bros. Speedrun race. There were going to be 2 people playing the game, and I just wanted to comment on the high production quality for their marathon, because even at the smaller event, the GDQX, that only goes for 3 days, they still pulled out all the stops and made a really nice looking setup for the viewers. It's interesting to be in the physical audience as opposed to watching on Twitch, to be able to see, they have 2 projectors at the game, they have the people running, tech booths off to the side, some people practicing for runs in the future. So they have really high production quality, and the run was interesting to watch. Good job to all the speedrunners, and just wanted to comment on that a little bit because GDQX always surprises me with how they are set up, how smoothly they flow, and the great work that they do. The final meet and greet I attended at TwitchCon was for Fire Dragon. He is a variety streamer on Twitch, partnered, and right now he's focusing on Apex Legends to become a professional player in that, but he is also known for playing Nintendo games, speedruns, pretty much the whole gamut. He takes time to do different things that he enjoys doing, and that's something I really appreciate. He doesn't really pay attention to how many people are watching or whatever, he just does what he enjoys, and it's very evident in his content. It was cool to be able to see him again. I actually met him at TwitchCon 2018, as well as his friend LinkFan. They were both there at the booth, so being able to talk to them and being remembered and recognized was actually really cool. They were talking to me a little bit about how, they've been since the last time we talked, and how different I looked and all that stuff, so that was nice. Nice little personal touch there. Just something I wanted to touch on with my audience is that if you see someone that you watch, these people aren't untouchable beings or people greater than you are. They are just normal people, and being able to go up and talk to them actually makes their day as much as it will make yours. So if you see someone, go ahead and say hi. Obviously, if they're like at a hospital or something, there's a time and place for everything. But generally speaking, they do appreciate meeting someone who watches them. At this point, it was about 2 p.m. and my dad and I were very hungry for lunch, so we went to this place called Sally's Fish House. It's about a 5 or 10 minute walk from the TwitchCon Convention Center, right on the shore. It was a nice place. We got, I believe, some sushi rolls, crab cakes, and then we both got salads. The food was great, good quality food. I recommend if you're ever down there, maybe for TwitchCon 2020, check out Sally's Fish House. It was good. I would recommend it very highly. After lunch, we returned to the expo floor just to do one last sweep, make sure we didn't miss anything important. One booth I just wanted to talk about was the Controller Chaos booth, and that's going to segue me into my point about the general exhibitors from TwitchCon 2018. I think I enjoyed the exhibitors from TwitchCon 2018 more. I don't know if it was because they focused TwitchCon 2018 booths more for general gaming audiences as opposed to streamers, because here at TwitchCon 2019 they had a little section based on just improving a stream, which is great if you're someone who does stream, but eventually you get tired of seeing booths of like back-end websites that help people grow, or analytics programs, or other things that are like for partnerships that you can get with different companies. So that was a little upsetting to me because, people like Scuff and Sony were just not at TwitchCon 2019 when they were something that made TwitchCon 2018 something really cool for me. Returning back to Controller Chaos, they had a much smaller presence in TwitchCon 2019 as opposed to last year's, and that's what kind of sparked my point. Instead of being kind of a central booth with a large U-shaped display with all their controllers and different things out that they make, they had kind of a small booth facing the wrong way, just tucked back in a corner. That was a little upsetting to me because I thought their products were really interesting, but to have them kind of just be shoved up in a corner felt like maybe they weren't as important, or that this year was pandering more towards the actual streamers as opposed to the community of Twitch. At this point, we were ready to go ahead and head back to the hotel room to nap for a little bit, but we still did not find our bags, so we stopped by the information desk, and they did confirm a rumor we were hearing that they had run out of bags. They were willing to right the situation, though, by giving us little slips that were entitling us to Twitch Bleed Purple patches. I believe the slip said something along the lines of how we had made TwitchCon a more welcoming place for people, or something about kindness, and then we were given these patches, so that was neat. They are kind of exclusive, so it makes up a little bit for the bag. I'm not as upset as I was at the time, but, still would have been nice to get a bag. I was just sort of thinking that if they knew the exact amount of tickets sold, how could they underplan for bags? Because, at TwitchCon 2019, they had signs saying that you could not buy a ticket at the gate, therefore they knew how many people were coming, and even if they didn't know how many people were coming, they could at least give one for every person who had actually planned to come. I don't know, that's just sort of what I think. It's kind of strange how they ran out in one day, only on the Fridays when they ran out, so whatever. Now we were returning back to our hotel room. We were actually ready to see the room for the first time. We go up. Hard Rock Hotel was nice. I think it had 12 stories. We were on the 11th story, so it was nice to be sort of high up, get a nice view of the city. We were actually right across the way from where the TwitchCon party was being held. You can see that picture here from inside the room. So that was pretty cool. You got to peek over a little bit and see some of the action going on at that stadium. The room itself was clean. It was a nice experience, I could say. One thing I'd like to talk about was the bathroom. It was clean and neat, but the way the sink was set up was just really strange. They had it kind of like a gear shift in a car, to where top left was hot, top right was cold, bottom middle was off. But once you turned it to off, you actually had to return it to the middle position so that it would stop dripping. So it was really weird to adjust to. I'm happy I was only staying for one night, because I think that would have caused some problems, especially since, you know, the drain made noise if their drip was going, so not something you kind of ignore. Additionally, I wanted to talk about how they really kind of nickel and dimed you at this hotel. I'm not sure if it's a hotel thing in general or just the Hard Rock, but they only provided water if you paid for it. It was $11 for Fiji water, and then everything else you could buy as well. You could buy some snacks, some candies. Only thing is, if we were paying to stay in that hotel room, why would we have to pay extra for things that we need to survive, like water and food? I get food, I guess, you know, like room service or whatever, but water? Like, I need that to live, you know? It just doesn't make too much sense to me. Like, I'm not gonna pay $18 to drink water and eat Pringles. That's kind of ridiculous. So, I don't know if that's a general hotel thing. That kind of set me a little off to the Hard Rock Hotel as a kind of company. I didn't really appreciate how they did their business practices. At this point, we decided to nap for a little bit before our dinner reservation at 8:20 in the hotel lobby. There was a restaurant called Nobu. It had great sushi. Nobu has many locations across the world, and it is evident why they do. Their food was fantastic. Special notice to the yellowtail with jalapeno and cilantro. That was a great dish. We ordered 2 of those, and it came with like 8 slices of the fish. Super great. Loved it very, very much. Would highly recommend it if you went. One thing I would suggest to avoid is the Wagyu tempura with pepper, because we figured it would be steak tempura fried and then you could just dip it in a pepper sauce, when in fact it was a pepper shoved with steak. That was then tempura fried. We were really confused when we got that delivered to our table. We weren't sure if it was even something we ordered, but it in fact was. We took a couple bites and then kind of set that aside because we were not really prepared for what we were given. Might have been our thing though, might not have read carefully enough. Overall, Nobu was great. And that should have been the end of my TwitchCon story. It should have been I went up to bed, fell asleep, woke up, got in a taxi, and went to the airport. But there was one more thing to talk about. At around 4 or 5 in the morning, Hard Rock Hotel actually had some people fighting in the hallway. They were directly outside of our room, and they were yelling at each other very loud, to the point where security had to get involved, and from what I heard, they actually evicted someone from the hotel, so that they could not stay there anymore. They were put out onto the street for the night. Obviously, that was something that was disruptive to our sleep. We weren't sure really what was going on, if we were safe in our hotel room. I wasn't even sure if our door was locked, and there were people going around putting keys in random doors. Might have been security. I wasn't sure. I was very frightened. And then, obviously, we told the front desk about that, and their response was, "Oh, sorry about that. We'll let management know." Which was a little upsetting. Actually, more than a little upsetting. It was very upsetting, because we had paid so much money to stay at that hotel, and then for them to just kind of brush off our complaint and lack of safety was very, very disappointing. Actually, I had my dad look over the script before I decided to share it with you guys, and the one thing he changed was he changed the bullet point from Hard Rock Fight to Hard Rock Loser Fight, because that's really what it was. And I think the Hard Rock Hotel is not a place I would stay again, because I think the general people there aren't necessarily of quality to say. I'm trying to put it kind of lightly. It's just, if you get those sort of ruffians that are, you know, yelling at each other at 4 in the morning on this random occasion when it's supposed to be just a bunch of gamers having fun, what would you get on a normal day, you know? So I would think if I were to return to San Diego for TwitchCon 2020, I would stay away from the Hard Rock Hotel. It is convenient, it is close, but I think at the price point, it is not worth the service that you get. Other than that, that about wraps up my TwitchCon 2019 recap. At this point, we got into a taxi and returned to the airport to fly home. And then we slept for a very long time because we were tired. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. I have links to all the streamers I talked about in my description, as well as all the videos I might have used are credited when I show them. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Take care.